over 1/3 of student affairs professionals are looking to leave. That is the main takeaway from a survey by SkyFactor Benchworks, which is an arm of Macmillan Learning. But before I dive into that, let me introduce myself. My name is Drew, and on this channel I talk about multiple topics surrounding higher education. So if you are a future student, a current college student, a parent of a future or current student, or a higher education professional, then this channel may be for you. I'd like to talk about best practices or ways to navigate the college experience, as well as current events in the world of higher education and how that impacts you. So if you like the channel, if you like the content, make sure you hit subscribe. Now, digging into this survey, across 38 states in Canada, there were a little over 300 student affairs professionals that were surveyed. I think the sample size was slightly too small. However, I think the findings were reflective of student affairs as a whole. And so this study found that the main dissatisfaction, because you had 37% who were looking to quit or find new roles. They found that the main reasons for this were dissatisfaction with low pay, poor work-life balance, and little opportunity for growth. Conversely, you had 17% who did say that they were making a decent salary, 27% said they were comfortable with their balance of work and life, and 13% were highly satisfied with growth opportunities. Now, if you work in student affairs, chances are you know someone who has left in your immediate area, or you may be looking to leave yourself. I know I just lost a colleague 2 weeks ago because she cited poor work-life balance as the main factor in that decision. So what do we do about this? And if you're not familiar with the student affairs or why this is happening, let me kind of explain. With the student affairs, if you are a student or if you're the parent of a student, all of the events that the students go through, whether that's orientation or a welcome event, student involvement fairs, career fairs, any sort of professional growth or club meetings that have staff and faculty advisors, those are the student affairs professionals that are coordinating those events. And those are often outside of the day-to-day, and they're outside of the normal Monday through Friday 8 to 5. So these are also in addition to the main responsibilities of those student affairs roles. So you may be coming in and putting in a 12-hour day on a Thursday because you have to do your daily work and then stick around for an evening event and then have to show up on a Saturday morning to do something for homecoming. And this is completely lopsided because you would also want to think that, well, when summer rolls around and there aren't as many classes in session and there aren't as many students around, this could be a time to recover. That's not the case anymore. The way institutions are beginning to operate, it's more of a year-round cycle, and the intensity may slow a bit over summer, but it does not slow down to a point where student affairs staff would be able to take time off or recover. Also, with the way student affairs is structured, sometimes due to budget constraints, a lot of these professionals are having to wear many hats. They're having to take on many roles where they're doing the work of what used to be 4 separate people. So they're being overworked, they're being asked to do so much more, and then they are not being compensated for it. And this is all compared to private sector jobs, which is where a lot of the student affairs professionals are going. Now, you could work in student affairs and make a pretty healthy salary, but that's more of the upper leadership level. But it goes back to the growth opportunities and how they are limited. And so a perfect example of that is being an academic advisor. So you are going to become a subject matter expert and very precise in what you know and how you operate in the responsibilities of the advising role, which is solid, especially from the student perspective and how you're helping students. But where do you go from there? Now, over time, you may grow your skill set and you could eventually move into a leadership role or a supervisory role where you're overseeing a team of advisors. But then what? Because you are so specific in what you know that you don't have much experience outside of that to really translate into other roles within student affairs. And in many ways, that's not entirely the advisor's fault. I would look at the nature of their work. Have to do one specific thing, and they don't really have the opportunity to branch out even if they wanted to. So if you are a young student affairs professional, what I would recommend to you is the pay it is what it is. It's probably not going to change anytime soon, and I would say the same with the work-life balance. However, within your role, you need to take advantage of any and every opportunity that you can to branch out and really diversify your experience and build that resume. So often we are asked to do things that are outside of our job scope, and many of us want to say no, and that's fine. But if you want to continue to grow and you want to maneuver your way up the ladder in your career, say yes. Say yes to anything and everything, but also recognize that may come at a cost in terms of work-life balance. So it's a vicious cycle, and it comes down to what you want to do as an individual. And on a positive note with this survey, which I also think is reflective of student affairs, 63% of those surveyed said that they found their work meaningful, and 55% felt that they served a bigger purpose. And ultimately, over 2/3 said that their colleagues treat one another with respect. And I think when I look at jobs outside of higher education, this makes sense, because when you get to work with students, when you get to see them grow and develop, and when you get to see them come in on their first day and then eventually graduate, and knowing you had a hand in that, it's a great feeling. It's a feeling knowing that you are contributing to the improvement of society and the improvement of their lives. So there is that. And then I think with the mutual respect from colleagues, depending on your department, it can actually be a very fun place to work. I've been on some amazing teams, and even through working more than 40 hours a week, we still had fun doing it because we were doing it together. So those are two benefits that I think sort of act as a counterbalance or a counterweight to the poor pay, the poor work-life balance, and the limited opportunities for growth. So this survey was reflective of the student affairs environment, at least from my perspective. And I will link to the article and also the study as well. And if you work in student affairs, let me know. Are you thinking about leaving? Or do you know someone in your immediate area who has already left? And why? And where are you going? Because I'm curious to see how big this is and if this is a problem that needs to be addressed on a bigger level. And like I said, if you like this content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that like button if you appreciated this video, and I will see you in the next one.